Hey guys, welcome back to the Turnbuckle Tavern's YouTube page. Today we are talking about Tessa Blanchard, and is she AEW or NXT? Before we get into that, make sure you guys click on the link in the description below. Subscribe to the YouTube page. The link will take you to our social media pages. It will take you to our podcast page where you can rate, subscribe, and review the podcast. And it'll also take you to our Pro Wrestling Tees store where you can pick up one of our pretty sweet shirts. They're $20. Pick one up. Also turn the bell up in the corner on so you can get notifications when we send you new videos. But let's get right into it, man. Tessa Blanchard, AEW or NXT?
I mean, that's the question. Both sides have pretty pros and cons.
Yeah.
So
She's going somewhere and soon.
Yeah, because she dropped a belt to Kylie Ray on the independent scene, right? Last night.
She dropped the Illinois Wrestling Warrior title. She dropped that.
So what that means to me is she's pretty much honoring her bookings, dropping belts, and clearing the way for an exclusive deal with a major promotion.
Yeah. So she's going somewhere, and it's going to happen soon. If I had to put money on it, I would put it on AEW.
You think she's here's what makes this situation a little more tricky. She had that history where a lot of the female wrestlers came out and said that while she was at Impact Wrestling, that she had made a bunch of racist comments and she was a bully backstage, and a lot of female wrestlers came out and kind of backed that claim up. So there were a lot of women from the independent wrestling scene and women from WWE that said she was a bully and all this stuff. Okay, then that supposedly that's why she didn't sign with the WWE after the Mae Young Classic.
Right.
Was because of that stigma. And she's been known to be how would you say it? She likes a firm hand in the direction of her career and her character.
Yeah.
So with AEW, they're so open, accept everyone, they're all about equality and pushing that, social justice agenda in that regard. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're very much a youthful, they're of the times more than WWE. So would they want to bring someone in like that? And then WWE, if they throw her into NXT, Tessa's coming from Impact where she won the male heavyweight championship for the men.
Right.
She was the first person to do that in a major promotion. So, and I've watched her in interviews where she says she wants to make history. She's always trying to make history. And that's why that was a big deal to her. Does someone like Tessa Blanchard view going to NXT, which is a developmental brand? It's not a main brand. They don't treat it like a main brand. Does she feel like that is? Does she feel like that is taking a step back? So do you see AEW rolling the dice on someone who has this history of being a bully and making racist comments? Do they roll the dice on her? And do you see WWE just allowing her to come in as this big character that she views herself as right to the main roster and not relegating her to NXT? And if they were to say she has to come to NXT first, would she do that? So there's a couple questions for you.
Yeah, I don't think I think the thing that she has going for her with AEW is that her dad's there.
Right. And now that's the thing. Is that a pro or a con for her coming from her vantage point?
from her vantage point, I mean,
Who knows?
yeah, I don't know
Does she
how.
want to work with her dad every day?
Yeah, I I don't know. I don't know how she feels. I don't know how their relationship is,
Right.
and that it all hinges on how their relationship is, which I have no idea how it is.
No, I don't either.
Um, if they do have a good relationship, then her coming in and being a bully, I think that if they have a good relationship, I think that works well in AEW's favor because they have her dad there who can maybe help keep her grounded
I agree.
if they have a good relationship.
I agree.
Now, going straight, I mean, going into WWE, I mean, I can see her going straight to the main roster and getting in a storyline. They don't really have anybody right now that, I mean, they have the Sasha and Bailey, whatever. And I heard that Billie Kay's gone from TV for good.
Really?
Yep. I heard that they're pretty much, they've just given up on her is what I've heard. That's the rumor.
Oh, wow.
So, because I know they broke up the Iconics and, I don't think they're going to, from what I've read, they're not going to roll with Billie Kay anymore. So, I mean, coming straight up there, I mean, she could be a big dog right off the bat.
Do you think they treat her like that, though?
No.
Do you think they're going to bring her in like that?
Nope. If she comes in, she's going to go to, I think if she comes in, I think NXT is where they're going to send her realistically.
I feel like they just don't. It would be, I think, as a corporate global entity, they're worried about bringing her in on the main roster and her saying something or her doing something backstage that would shine them in a negative light.
Right.
So I feel like if they bring her in, they're probably going to put her on NXT to see how she does, see how her demeanor is, and then move her up. I don't know if she would be into that.
Is she on board for that?
Right. And another, wild card in this whole thing is the fact that AEW keeps debuting all this new talent from outside of their company. Does that kind of push WWE to try and do that themselves?
Right.
So maybe they do bring her on the main roster as a huge surprise.
Yeah, I mean that would be it would be a surprise if they did that.
But here's the thing too, here's another layer to it. Does WWE view her, and do fans view her as a big surprise outside of the hardcore fan base? Casuals won't know who the hell she is.
Right.
Like people who just watch WWE won't know who the hell she is. Hardcores who keep up with everything, will know who she is, but is it that big of a pop for a Survivor Series? Or
no, realistic, when you break it down like that, I don't think it's not a huge pop. Because they're gonna have to say, oh, that's Tessa Blanchard,
And Tully, they go, that's Tully. They're not going to say that because he's AEW.
Draws eyes to AEW.
So they're in a tight spot where they can't really push her history with her father, or they're putting over an AEW talent.
Right.
So it's a very tricky. It makes the most sense she goes to AEW. They need it the most. They're the ones who need more elite women wrestlers.
Right.
Because WWE's pretty much scooped them all up, but not all of them. But they have a market share of.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Yeah, so, I don't know, man. I think at this point, honestly, I think it's 50-50. I do. I don't.
Yeah, it definitely is, and all these little things we talk about. Her history of the bullying and the comments, derogatory comments she's supposedly made. No one knows. It's all he said, she said.
Yeah.
Tessa denied it. All these other girls claim it's true. The way she had the falling out with Impact Wrestling is also kind of a red flag. Like, what if she does that to your company?
Right.
You know, like, so there's a lot of like question marks where they're like, would you risk bringing in someone like that, especially with AEW too? You know, WWE has more visibility, you know, eyes on them, but with AEW, they've kind of really cultivated this very friendly locker room from what
Yeah.
we've heard. And
Yeah.
do you want to bring in someone who you feel may be a detriment to that locker room?
I think a lot of that hinges on the relationship she has with her dad. I think that's where a lot of it lies.
Yeah.
Yep. So leave a comment below. Let us know where do you think that Tessa, where does she show up? Where does she fit in? What organ is it? AEW? Is it WWE, NXT, or is it somewhere else? Where do you think she ends up? Leave a comment below, and we'll be back with you soon with new videos.